Hey traders, Marcello here, founder of the Day Trading Academy. Today we're going to be talking about the process of becoming a professional trader. So I think this is something, most of you guys that are thinking about becoming traders or learning how to trade, because obviously, you're going to buy a strategy and the next week you're going to become millionaires, don't really understand the actual process that it takes to become one. So I wanted to kind of highlight for you what it's going to take you guys to go from not knowing anything about the market to all the way going to doing this consistently every day. Now, I have been doing this for about 15 years now. I took out $25,000 in student loans when I was 18 years old, still a young 33 years old, and I lost it in a month. And obviously for me, the reason why I love day trading, because for me, I don't know of any other career or profession where you can make more money, obviously, but more importantly, have the ultimate security of even making more money in a crisis or a recession. Because obviously traders make more money when things aren't doing well than when they are doing well. So the first part of the process is obviously learning how to do it. Let's just put it that way, right? So it's, buying a fancy computer or, just a basic computer to learn how to do this. And then obviously the second part is finding a strategy to learn how to trade. So whether it's stocks or Forex or futures, whatever the case may be, let's say that you already found your strategy or you're going to create one and then you're going to study how to do this. In the process of learning how to do this, there's going to be two phases. So let me say three phases. The first is obviously learning let's call it learning the technicals. Okay, let's just call it that. Let's call it curriculum. This is where you learn a strategy or learn how to read the market, or for us, for example, is learning how to read tick charts instead of candlestick charts. Then from there you go into practice mode. Practice mode is what we call demo or simulation. This is where you practice in a live market environment, but you trade with fake money, like monopoly money, right? So you pretend to have $100,000 in your account and you trade it every day to see how much money you can make. So learn the technicals, then you go to simulation. In terms of the amount of time that it takes, this is a question that I think is very difficult to answer because everybody is different. So on average, I'm just going to give you an example of the guys who go through our program at the Day Trading Academy. The curriculum, I would say, takes about 2 or 3 weeks to go through. And then from there, the simulation phase, you have to become consistent making the right decisions in simulation. I'd say 3 to 4 weeks of positive results before you go to try to trade live. Now, one of the things that you have to understand about trading is that it's not a technical endeavor. I know most people think that there's some kind of holy grail strategy out there, or some kind of holy grail system that you can buy. Those robots, right, that you guys know about, where you buy the red light, the green light, buy this arrow. And if it was that easy, obviously everybody would be trading, right? Because if somebody can just come up with a robot that automatically tells you when to trade, everybody would be millionaires day trading. So you have to get to the point where you're consistently profitable. And just to give you an example of the range of time that I have seen, anywhere between 6 weeks to about 11 months or so. I personally, it took me 2 years to become a successful trader, consistently profitable. I know traders that have taken them 8 years. They didn't, they were doing all kinds of things beforehand. So that's the next step. And obviously that step, it really depends on you guys, because you have to become consistently profitable on sim, with play money, funny money. Then after that, we get to trading live. You open your account live with, in futures, for example, $1,000 or $2,000, and then you start trying to trade every day. This is the toughest part of becoming a professional trader, because most people don't understand is that, and as I've mentioned in a lot of the videos, there's a lot of comments on YouTube where I repeat the same things, because I want to make sure you guys understand that day trading is more psychological than it is technical. So when you go from the technicals to the simulation, then to live is when the education process starts all the way from zero again. And the reason why is because there's nothing like losing your own money. Right? We work so hard to pay off our debts and to make all this money to be able to invest it. It's very hard for us psychologically to know that we might lose it. And that's the hard part about going live. So when you go live, you're gonna start learning the psychological aspect of trading, and obviously that's when the demons come out, because a lot of us have a lot of different things inside that we don't want to admit, whether it's the fear of losing money or just fear itself, or impatience, which is right a big thing for a lot of us. That was a big thing for me when I was learning how to trade. The discipline. And one of the things you guys have to know about this process of becoming a trader is you guys are gonna have to change if you want to become a successful trader, right? If you guys aren't disciplined in real life, you're not gonna be able to learn how to trade, because you're not gonna be a disciplined trader. If you guys are patient when you're learning how to trade, that's gonna carry over into your trading. So one of the things that I can tell you guys about becoming a successful trader and learning how to do this full time is that it's more you changing as a person and growing as a person more than it is you learning some strategy that some guy sold you and then learning how to use it. Because most people don't realize that a lot of the fears or a lot of the things that you do in your personal life carry over into the decisions you make in the market. And that's part of the reason why it does take so long to become a trader, because people can't change from one day to the next, right? They can't learn to just kind of flip on the switch. Habits take a lot of time to be able to redo or learn how to do them. So that's essentially the process of being able to learn how to trade. It's really technically that simple, although it's really not that simple, quote unquote. And I think that one of you guys, if you're watching this video, if you want to learn to be able to learn how to trade, you have to consider the fact that this is more of a psychological endeavor rather than a technical one. You know, I did a video on the best books for traders. I'd highly recommend a book called Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. Trading in the Zone is a classic. Market Wizards, I believe, is another one. Market Mind Games. But I would focus more than anything on the psychology of trading rather than just the technical aspect where you go and, you know, find a guru or a guy or academy that's going to teach you how to trade. Because at the end of the day, this isn't going to be one day to the other. And I want you guys to understand that I personally do believe that it doesn't matter where you're from, if you're white, black, brown, café con leche, doesn't matter if you're woman, female, both. Doesn't matter if you're African, European, German, American, Canadian. It doesn't matter where you're from. I've learned from traveling around the world for the last 8 years that at the end of the day, at the core of what we do, most humans react the same way to every circumstance. So I do believe that anybody can learn how to do this, even if you don't know anything about trading. You don't have to know anything about math or statistics or, you know, finance. Anybody can learn how to do this. You just have to be willing to make the sacrifice to learn it. Because I think that most of us don't realize the sacrifice that one does have to make to learn how to be able to trade, right? And I think that most of us believe that it's going to be from one day to the next, and unfortunately, that's not the way it works, right? I've trained a ton of people from a ton of different backgrounds, women, man, you know, shout out to my man Jim, 68-year-old, one of the best traders that we've ever trained. And then me on the other side of the spectrum was 18 years old, you know, kid that just wanted to make money and have his freedom to be able to travel around the world. So that's essentially the process that you guys are going to need to be able to become a trader. I'm kind of looking at my notes here and thinking about there's something else that I need to actually let you guys know of. But I think it's really what it comes down to, is the psychology aspect of it. So if you guys are willing to learn how to trade, and you say that you're willing to have the sacrifice to be able to learn how to do it, what I would tell you is to focus more than anything on the psychology aspect of it. Because you can learn how to trade in a ton of different ways, but you're not going to be able to trade if you don't have this on the right shoulders. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. You can leave them with hashtag #AskMarcello. I'll be happy to answer all the questions that you guys may have. And we'll talk to you soon.